I usually keep it hidden.
Oh, I see.
Charlie, because God loves us and wants us to be happy. Tomorrow is Malcolm Nance Day. On the day of the Putin, what do you call it? Meeting, Biden meeting. But Putin's favorite congressman, as you point out, Dana Rohrabacher, as it turns out, was at the Capitol on January 6th.
I know.
And you said
walking around with a guy who looked like Dr. Zhivago.
Yes.
Yes.
He had this weird hat on.
Yes. Right. Putin's best friend in D.C. joined the mob on January 6th, and you said the past, it has many blasts.
Yeah.
So
I mean, who thought of Dana? I haven't thought of Dana Rohrabacher in years.
Yeah.
I know. So what did
Ever since Kevin McCarthy said that there were only two people that were on Putin's payroll.
Right. Yes.
Trump and Rohrabacher.
I love what he said. Let's see. He admitted he did attend the Save America rally prior to the insurrection, although he claims he advised the mob not to storm the Capitol building. Do you buy that, Charlie?
Sure, I'm sure he stood on the lawn in front of the west front of the Capitol and said, "Hey, don't storm the Capitol."
Yes. And then he went on to blame leftist provocateurs for allegedly encouraging the angry mob to breach the Capitol. Charlie, am I missed something? Has there been any evidence of any kind that left-wing provocateurs were there or charged or arrested? Okay.
Of course not, but a lot of people are now pretending to believe it.
Well, I mean, Ron Johnson says it every other day, right? I mean, don't they? And first of all, what did he say? Oh, it was peaceful. They stayed within the rope lines. It's like you watched one piece of 9-second tape of them staying. I mean, Charlie, how do you? There's so much video that we've all seen of this. How do they think they can get away with this? Saying this was peaceful and they just
because they get away with it. Because for the people they're aiming at, they get away with it.
Yeah.
How does Louis Gohmert get 72% of the vote the last time he ran?
Yeah.
Because people believe him. People are willing to believe this. I mean, we're getting document release after document release after document release from all these House committees showing how absolutely systematic the attempt to reverse the election was. I mean, they did everything but sell Brad Raffensperger to Somali pirates, and still we're hearing about Dominion voting machines and Italian hackers from space.
Yeah. And we just played Mitch McConnell. You said Mitch McConnell just fired on Fort Sumter, shot the Archduke, and bombed Pearl Harbor in a figurative political sense. And he says, right, I am a mother, right, and I'm about to my mother. Like, he says what he's going to do. And McConnell drawn from the immortal wisdom of the rude pundit. Yes, exactly. But you just said, stated plainly, McConnell will never allow a Democratic president to successfully nominate a justice to the Supreme Court as long as he has the power to block it. And I guarantee you, whoever succeeds him in the Senate as Republican leader will not either. The Republican Party's war on the American Democratic Republic is now declared and open. There are only three options remaining that I can see. One, nuke the filibuster immediately. Two, a completely improbable and massive Democratic sweep in the 2022 midterms. Number three, nuke the Senate. If you're not willing to at least threaten options 1 and 3, then option 2 will remain out of reach. And you said, I think option 1 is the more peaceable solution, nuke the filibuster. And you said no matter what Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema think, McConnell was double dog daring the Democratic majority to do it. Call his damn bluff for once. Thank you, Charlie. I mean, he just says it right in the open.
Yeah, he told Hugh Hewitt that as far as he's concerned, Democratic presidents do not have the right to appoint Supreme Court justices.
Right.
Period. And he will make up whatever lie and use whatever tactic he needs to make sure it doesn't happen.
Can you explain? You probably can't explain anything related to Joe Manchin to me, but Mitch McConnell already blew up the filibuster for Supreme Court. Why does Joe Manchin continue to think that we have to keep this tradition or whatever it is?
Because I don't believe at least in Manchin's case, I don't believe it has anything to do with justices. I believe it has to do with legislation. He doesn't like the For the People Act. He doesn't like the infrastructure bill. And I believe both of those are tied to the fact of where he gets his money from.
Yeah.
Certainly the For the People Act is.
Yeah.
His resistance to that act is, I believe, is totally involved with the money he gets from the Koch family and everything else. He doesn't want the dark money provisions in that act.
Mm-hmm. I can't.
I think it's pure policy. I don't think it's him being, drunk with power or just a senatorial eccentric. I think he's got real problems with what Biden's trying to do.
Okay. You even quoted Washington Post Fred Hyatt is deeply troubled. He said it's bad enough.
That to me was a stunner.
Right.
Fred has missed the clues for 38 years.
Yes. Yeah. But he said it's bad enough most Republicans continue to defend Trump's slander on American democracy, use it as a pretext to suppress the vote. Instead of looking for ways to appeal to more voters, it's even scarier. They're trying to write themselves an insurance policy so that if their vote suppression strategy fails in 2024, they can nevertheless reclaim power. That should be unacceptable to every patriotic American. I'm glad, Charlie, more and more people are seeing that part of it. It's not just the voter suppression. It's it's the safeguard that, if and all that fails, we're just going to decide who wins. I mean,
there's stuff going on. There's stuff going on in the states that's beyond belief. I mean, the idea that a state legislature can overrule the judgment of the state election officials, that's an open invitation for rat humping.
Mm-hmm. So
that's go ahead.
What prevents this? I mean, obviously, Merrick Garland gave a good speech. About
state representatives. Take the state houses back. They did it in 2006. They even got Montana back.
Yeah,
it can be done.
Yeah. Okay. You talked about I just love this line about Arizona, the fraud. You said, "What's the latest from the ongoing extended farce in Arizona, which by all available evidence ought to be wrapping up sometime in the middle of the second Malia Obama administration." But, the fact is, you pointed out that it's paid for, all these other Republican states coming to see this and do it in their state, paid for by a group called Voices and Votes, which is run by a woman named Christina Bobb, who's also a host on the America One News Network, who is reporting on this. And
they wanted to call the organization Tubers and Zots, but it was taken.
Right. So it's not a news. They say she's reporting on it, and Trump's top advisor, I guess, about the fraudits that she's paying for. I mean, it's
and her organization is paying for the people from Wisconsin to fly down there.
Right.
Wisconsin and now other states too, to see what's going on.
Yeah, but I'm sure. I mean, it's been reported from Wisconsin. I don't know about the other states, but probably, yeah. I mean, it's part of their TV. It's part of One America, whatever that is, One America News Network, or whatever the hell they're calling themselves these days. It's part of their reality show.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what it is. Exactly.
These are the guest stars. Also, these are the. Well, I can't. I got to come up with the Martin Landaus of the. Of this particular reality show, also starring some Yahoo from Wisconsin.
Yeah, but Charlie, isn't it, as a journalist, as I always say, it all becomes one story. It's all one story. This morning's latest news about the DOJ is also involved in this, like what the extent they went to, to try to get them to overturn the election. I mean, what's your take on all this DOJ stuff? Again,
that's the thing. I mean, they're going to wind up with so much evidence. For conviction in the second impeachment trial, that it's going to topple over and fill Chesapeake Bay. I mean, everything about the last administration's approach to the election results is marginally criminal, and all of it is unethical.
Yeah. Well, okay, and obviously the meeting with Putin is tomorrow. Speaking of elections, and what's that? Okay, and anyway, Russian state TV debuts insurrectionist who raided Pelosi's office ahead of Biden's meeting with Putin. I mean, they're actively trying to, poke Biden with a stick, right? I mean, it's so Russia's seeking to exploit rifts between the Capitol insurrectionists and America's government ahead of the upcoming summit with Biden and Putin. They have unleashed a flurry of threats from the Kremlin's propaganda machine and a promise of staunch resistance to American demands. From cyber attacks to human rights abuses. It also triggered another bizarre press strategy, the debut and glorification of an infamous Capitol rioter on Russian TV. So this guy that had his feet on Pelosi's desk, they invited him on, described him as an American patriot who protested against a stolen election. I mean, Okay. It's just, this is supposed to be Ronald Reagan's party. Isn't Zombie Reagan infuriated at this point that they are Putin's party? That they're.
Well, I don't know. I don't know about Zombie Reagan, but real Reagan sold missiles to Iran. So
Right, but you don't know if Ron Johnson said this or Putin's spokesman or Russian television at this point. That the rioters are peaceful patriots, and
Oh no, I mean Ron Johnson's bought and paid for. That's pretty plain by now.
Yeah.
Plus, he's also a meathead. I was thinking a lot of him yesterday because yesterday was Robert La Follette's birthday. Oh. And you talk about somebody who must be having the dry heaves in heaven.
Yeah.
It's probably Bob La Follette looking down, seeing who's sitting in his chair right now.
Yeah. What do you
Twice,
think?
Wisconsin, twice you had a chance to elect Russ Feingold instead of this idiot.
Yep.
And look what you did.
Yep. What is your take on Merrick Garland? I mean, obviously we have an IG, that's fine. Nadler says we're going to have a congressional. But I mean, doesn't the Department of Justice itself have to do something about
Yeah, I mean, I respect the fact that he's walking a tightrope, that he's got to do his job in the present, and yet he's got to find a way to repair the damage.
Yeah.
But I think he's being altogether too cautious on the last one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's time to fumigate the place. It's time to get all of the people appointed by Donald Trump out of the Department of Justice.
Isn't it hilarious? It's the deep state is Trump loyalists that have been installed in these places to obviously block Joe Biden and anything his administration wants to do. So I agree with you. Time to clean house.